What's up, Eagles fans, and welcome into the All-22 review driven by AAA. I'm Fran Duffy, joined by NFL Film senior producer Greg Cosell. The Eagles fall in a big way to the New Orleans Saints, a blowout fashion here on Sunday night against the New Orleans Saints down in the Superdome. Greg, a lot to take away from this game. Obviously, a very tough loss, but we'll get to this in a little bit. Not all hope is lost. You do have 3 division games here coming down the stretch, but just initial takeaways, before we get into some breakdowns, initial takeaways from this game.
Well, I think, Fran, some of the things that we've seen sort of percolating all season sort of jumped out against a really good team, the New Orleans Saints. And I think we've talked all year about, at times there were some issues with pass protection. That showed up. I think at times all throughout the year we've talked about the running game. And 2 things, the commitment to it and the efficiency with it. And I think obviously when the efficiency is not real good, the commitment starts to wane. And we can always understand that from a coaching perspective and a play calling perspective. It's tough to continue to run the ball. The first quarter running statistics this year have not been very good. So it's very easy to come away from that because you're not moving the ball. And I think the other issue in this game that sort of cropped up a bit is they haven't been able to really get a ton of production with the outside receivers. I think a number of things that we've spoken about all year that have sort of been under the surface, when you play a really good team, you're not necessarily surprised that they sort of come to fruition.
Yeah, and then the other thing you mentioned, stepping up, injuries once again.
Oh,
I mean,
the secondary in particular, yeah.
I mean, they come into this game, they are already banged up, and then you lose a couple of players, or very early on in this game. Avonte Maddox, Sidney Jones was in and out. A lot of guys just, really banged up at this point in the season. Look, every team is banged up, but the Eagles suffering a ton of injuries.
Sure.
And you're playing a lot of players right now up front and on the back end defensively that you weren't really expecting to lean on, and that's showing up.
We spoke during the game, really, about the fact that if you had said, let's say in late August or even the first couple of weeks of the season, that some of the players that are playing would be playing at this point in Week 11, that I don't think that we really would have felt that way. And like you said, that affects every team, but it can affect some teams more than others, and it's been very impactful for the Eagles.
Yeah, no question. So we're going to break down a couple of plays here. First off, we're going to break down Carson Wentz's interception, just show you an idea of what the coaches were looking at that point of the game, why the play call was made, and what they were hoping to get downfield. Yep. And then we'll also take a look at Josh Adams' touchdown run early in the first half, just to give you an idea of what the young kid did. One of the bright spots here today, did run the ball hard, did get the start today at running back as well. So let's start things off here with this Carson Wentz interception and just kind of give fans an idea of what Doug Peterson and the offensive staff was looking to accomplish here on this play, because they're already down 10-0. It's in the first quarter. You're trying to strike here, get some points back on the board. I understand the need now to try and push it, go downfield, try and see if you can get some points.
Yeah, this is what we call shot play.
Yeah.
What they do is they put Carson Wentz under center, and they're going to go with zone run action, actually split flow zone, and they're going to work Dallas Goedert across the formation. It's, as I said, zone run action. And what they'd run is a very basic route concept that you see when teams go for a shot play. It's really a post-cross combination, 2 vertical type routes. So what you get is the crosser over here by Alshon Jeffrey. He's going to run the crossing route. And you get the post route by Nelson Aguilar. Now he's going to make it kind of a post-corner post, but it's a post. So you get the post-cross combination. And what you get here, because of the 2 tight end look and the formation, you're going to get cover 3. They anticipated that they'd get cover 3 with a single high safety. So now that you have all that set, we can run this and you see exactly what happens. So you see the post-cross combination, you freeze it right about here. Now, there's the single high safety, and here's Alshon Jeffrey working across the field on his crosser. Now, usually you might try to go a little deeper, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to make sure that you control this backside corner for as long as possible. That's Marshawn Lattimore, because the safety now will jump the crosser. Marcus Williams, the single high safety, will jump the crosser. So what happens is he now becomes basically an underneath defender, and Marshawn Lattimore replaces him as the single high safety, which is why you'd love for Alshon probably to go a little deeper. So what happens is Carson Wentz sees the safety, Marcus Williams dropped down to play the crosser, and he thinks he has it over the top to Nelson Aguilar. So let's run it, and you'll see what happens. Marshawn Lattimore does an excellent job of replacing as the deep safety. and he makes the interception. But the Eagles took a shot there, and it didn't work.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the interception he threw against Jacksonville, where Jalen Ramsey came from the backside. I got a similar type of concept, attacking single high.
Absolutely.
All right, Greg, let's take a look now at Josh Adams' 28-yard touchdown run here in the second quarter. Makes the score 17-7 in favor of the Saints. And you and I both studied Josh Adams coming out of Notre Dame in this past draft, and he is at his best downhill in a straight line. He does have breakaway speed for a guy that big.
Did that a lot at Notre Dame, saw a lot of long runs. And this run is inside zone with a split flow element. And what that means is the tight end here, that's Dallas Goedert. He will work across the formation to take care of any backside pursuit. So what they do here, though, the key blocks are made inside because it's inside zone. So what you have here is the center. And here it's Stefan Wisniewski because Kelsey was out. And the two guards, Brandon Brooks and Isaac Seumalo. And actually, Wisniewski does an excellent job because Demario Davis sort of steps up hard into that gap, and you need to take care of that. So those three blocks are critical, and we can run this, and you'll see it exactly taken care of really well. You see the downhill run. Adams hits it. And then he does have that breakaway speed, Fran, that you spoke about.
Yeah, and you saw Brandon Brooks get up to the backside linebacker,
really
just like
good
you said.
job.
So we see that touchdown run there by Josh Adams. And Greg, like we mentioned earlier, just not a great game overall from this Eagles team. All three phases of the game, really just not what you needed to go down on the road into a tough environment and beat a really good Saints team. So they fall down now to 4-6. 3 straight division games now in a row for this Eagles team. Will they be able to bounce back? That's something that Greg and I will touch on here on the Eagle Eye in the Sky podcast on Monday night. If you're subscribed there on iTunes or wherever podcasts can be found, or you can check out the podcast Tuesday morning on PhiladelphiaEagles.com or the Eagles app. Until then, I'm Fran Duffy for Greg Cosell. You were tuning in to the All-22 review driven by AAA. We'll see you next week.